even the people that are closest to you are at one point in your life just going to become a memory. So like, why are you going to let what people, strangers or coworkers or people like that, why are you going to let what they think of you or what they might say about you or anything else, why are you going to let that stop you?
5 minutes of knowing what you should be doing could change your life.
There is a light shining for you, guiding your way, helping you through. When shadows and gloom are all that you see, we'll find a place where we can be free. From the mountaintop.
On that note, welcome back to the Forge Light Podcast with a brand new flavor of Form Energy.
That was a crisp open.
Yeah, there's nothing better than like an energy drink or pop. Just, yeah, it's good. Good stuff right there. Good.
Yep.
As soon as I can have more caffeine, I'm still breastfeeding and I have my coffee every day, so I still have to keep it right under 300.
Keep it low key.
Keep it low key. We've been kind of on a hiatus of filming. I'm just going to jump into it, you know, right after.
The best way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, we're smiling now. It's been a rough start to the new year. We filmed that last episode right before the new year.
Yeah.
And literally the day after. I mean, it was crazy because we were literally just talking about how we're grateful for everything, and our life is in such a great spot. And I mean, it still is.
Yeah.
Right. But unfortunately, our 10-year-old German Shepherd, our baby boy, it was out of nowhere, got what we think was an aggressive growth rupture. He did have internal bleeding and he declined very rapidly, and he passed the day after. And so we haven't filmed at all. Like we've not hardly posted on any social.
Yeah.
We've not filmed for the podcast, and we're not going to spend too much time because I don't think we're ready.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about that
to
too
talk
much.
about that. We'll talk about still New Year's goals. I know that's something we had mentioned on the last podcast of like continue to dive into that. So we're gonna try to keep it positive today. Keep it not too deep and sad. I mean, we probably will talk about him in the future.
Yeah.
I know there's things that you want to talk about.
Yeah.
But we just can't get through that just yet.
Nope. It was a good test today. We got to pick up his ashes, and I thought that I was
ready.
Better, but I'm not ready.
Redder.
Not better.
It
Not
is-
ready. Not better.
It is, and I'm like getting through this now, but like, man, I mean, it is like devastating. And so many people have messaged us and we feel so loved, and this community is already so strong, but we love our little boy Chaos, and he's 10, and we've mentioned this before. We have a 12-year-old, like mixed breed, which she's screaming out the door.
She's like, you guys talking about me? Come on, Nala. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Hi. Hey, sweet girl. You want to lay down?
So, we have Nala, who's 12. We honestly, truly, were expecting her to go first, so that was kind of a shock. But now we're hoping that she can really pull through for a couple more years. And man, it sucks. Dogs don't live long enough. I said, like, why do turtles get to live so long? Like, what do they do? They don't do nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, no hate to the turtles, but
That was some hate. You definitely threw some hate there.
But turtles gonna live like
you can't deliver
100 years.
You can't deliver direct hate and then say no hate. That's just not how it works.
Yeah, but dogs, man,
Yeah, I
they're just
know.
angels, those
They
little
are.
angels. So we have a 4-year-old German Shepherd as well. They're doing okay. You know, I think they do miss him. I think that, you know, Jeff heard Karma cry in her sleep, like cry howl, which was
That's terrible.
awful.
Yeah.
But
Bad experience.
overall they're doing okay, and we're getting through it. So
Moving on.
yeah, moving on. We'll talk about happier things now. So Jeff even said, he's like, I don't know how I'm going to move on. And I said, let's move forward. We're not moving on. We're moving forward.
Good reframe.
Yeah, good reframe, good thing to do. And if you've struggled with something like that, or your year didn't start as we talked about this, maybe you had the worst year of your life.
Yeah.
Here's how you get through it. Well, this is our start to the year. And
Yeah. I think it is kind of ironic that it's, this is one of the things I plan to talk about more thoroughly. And I'm going to talk about it today because it's not too emotional for me, but it's just the concept of resilience that we always talk about.
Yep.
Like how fast, like when traumatic things happen to you, how fast can you bounce back? Or not even just traumatic things, just when bad things happen, right? And bad things are, defined in this specific setting as, things that are not in favor of you, right? So
just
like,
anything
it doesn't
that
have
knocks
to
you
be,
down.
doesn't have to be bad, like, something that is traumatic, but, if you have a flat tire, like that's a bad thing. Like that's something that it's not in your favor. Ironically, we did have a flat too.
We have to get all 4 tires replaced actually, so that's fun.
It's just that situation is like, the day that we got the flat tire, I was driving to get the brakes replaced on the truck.
Which
and it just made me think of like, oh no, I wasn't going there yet. What I was doing is I was taking Karma on a walk, and I happened to, I was walking across the driveway and I saw like a 3-inch screw, like an actual, like it was almost like a bolt, but like a screw head, and it was laying in someone's driveway. And I picked it up and just out loud, I just kind of mumbled like, "Man, that would have ruined someone's day." And then as I kept walking, I was like,
"Oh no!
Wait a second. Why would that ruin someone's day?"
Yeah.
That's not enough to ruin someone's day.
Yeah.
But that's like, how often do you think like, oh, I had a flat tire? Someone asks you like, how was your day? Oh man, it was terrible. I had a flat tire. Well, a moment of your day was bad.
Yeah.
And I think I just reflected on that the rest of my walk. Like, man, I really got to do a better job of just watching how I say things and being, acting more grateful, not saying things that make me more grateful, but acting more grateful and just for life, because life is short. That's a very clear message that you receive the older that you get. It's just something that I think a lot of us, and it's amplified with social media. The good and the bad is amplified on both sides. But yeah, just don't let things ruin your day. Don't let moments ruin your day. This has been posted about before too. This isn't something I made up. It's just
a good reminder.
Yeah, it's just a good reminder that you have bad moments. Not like there are people out there that are having bad days. Don't get me wrong. Like you can have bad days.
But not everything that's inconvenient.
Yeah, but those things, like I'm just like, the inconveniences aren't bad days. They're bad moments. You get into a small argument, like your whole day is not ruined because of that, unless you allow it to be. And that's the main message is like, okay, I had a flat tire. Well, what can I do? I can just rummage and just continue to dig in my head about all these negative thoughts about, oh, well, now I got to do this and now this and now this, and just articulate this bad situation. Or I can say, okay, got to get the tire fixed. Look for a solution. Don't look for fuel to feed the negativity.
That's a really great point. And I think that just with even a bad situation, and that's kind of been our motto, is like, life is short, live how you want to live, don't live for other people, don't hold back on your dreams, go for it, because in so many instances we have in our past, and we've seen this happening to other people all the time, you let one little bad thing that might even just be a possibility of a bad thing really just take control of your life. And if you constantly let these little inconveniences or possibilities of inconveniences, because I live in that anxiety space where I'm worried about what could potentially happen, and all these things build up, and I let it affect my whole day, and then it never even was a problem.
Right.
And so whether it is little problems that you're allowing to pull you down, or it is, potential problems, those things can add up over time, and really you'll look back and realize on how much of life you actually missed. And I think that one thing that we, and we'll talk about this more when we do talk about chaos, but we have had a lot of loss in our life. And I think every time I grieve, and especially this time, because he is such a big part of our everyday routine, it's crazy how someone that, and I say someone, whether it's a pet or a family member or a friend, or even like, unfortunately, one of the guys in our neighborhood passed, that Jeff sees all the time on his walks, and just little pass-bys, right? It's crazy how someone that could be such a big part or a part of your life turned into a memory in just a moment. And it's just crazy, like, looking at that.
Yeah. And
at the end of the day, it's what do you want those memories to be? Every moment of every day, you are building your memories that you'll look back on, and you don't want to spend all that time of your memories being on your phone. You don't want to regret anything. And actually that's something, and this is still going into the new year. So like when we're talking about the new year and we're setting goals and we're setting intentions and we're setting the word of the year and all these different things, which we'll give an update on, our word of the year. But when we're doing all of these things, I think it's all relevant to the conversation of when there's hardship in your life, because when you're setting these goals, you're continuing to not move on from maybe things that you know, bad things that have happened, but you're moving forward. You're taking those lessons and the pain and the happiness, and you're taking all of it, the good and the bad, with you, and you're moving forward, and you're thinking of what do you want to create? What do I want every day? Like every day is a new opportunity to make an impact. Every day is a new opportunity to create the life that you want to live, right? And it's not going to be easy doing that, but something we had talked in the car about, what even brought that up when we were talking about it yesterday? And you were like, let's talk about this on the podcast.
Yeah.
What was the question I asked you? Do you remember?
You asked if I wanted to pass quickly or if I wanted to know and have time. Like if I wanted to know if I wanted to know when I was going to pass and know I had like 3 months or 6 months to live or something like that.
Yeah, because we were talking, I think, about even chaos. Like it happened so suddenly and so unexpectedly, and I was like, man, I kind of almost wish that we would have had time to like really get to cherish those last moments. But there's good and the bad, because he didn't suffer, which you know, maybe if it would have been stretched out, like we knew he had X amount of time, he could have suffered during that time. I don't know. You never know.
He had a good quality of life until the last day of his life.
Up until the last day. Yep.
And the last day of his life was, you know, he was sick.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it was just sick for one day. And I think that's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's harder. I mean, I can't say it's harder, but it's hard to just happen so suddenly. But, you know, we were just saying which one, and we were like, you know, so I asked him, I'm like, would you rather, you know, have some time to know when it's going to happen? I never necessarily said suffer during that time, but like, would you rather like just know or
would you not?
Just not? And he was like, man, I guess you can say.
Yeah, I said, I want to know. I would want to know because I would want to have time to make sure I could tell everyone.
You said you want to be on good terms.
I want to be on good terms with everyone and let everyone know that
how I feel
about them. And she dropped this bomb. She was like, well, why don't you just do that now?
He was like, oh, shoot.
I'm serious. I was like, why don't we though?
Yeah. Yeah. What's holding us back?
Yeah. Why wait until I'm on my deathbed to tell people how much they mean to me or how thankful I am for them or, you know, that they're, you know, they're a big part of my life. Like, why are we that way?
I don't know. You know? It is interesting. It is.
I mean, not everyone's that way, but I'm that way.
Well, and also like think about it from like, you know, I kind of knew like Chaos was getting old. He was 10, and German Shepherds, like even dogs.
I thought we weren't talking about Chaos.
I know, but I'm saying like,
I'm just teasing.
Why don't we? I mean, we always hear like live like, you know.
Yeah.
You just never know when it's gonna be your last day. But I'm like, man, I really felt like we did cherish every day, and we've talked about that before we even knew what was going on.
Yeah.
But I just think, especially like in our 30s, and now that we have Lily, and she's growing up so fast. Oh my gosh, she's so fun. She is saying so many words now. She is hilarious.
Back on track.
I just think it's so much fun. Yeah. I want to cherish every moment.
Yeah.
And I think that it's like, why don't we not only tell people how we feel, but why don't we live more in the moment and enjoy it and like cherish it? And I think we do that well. I think we've we've really, you know, been intentional since Lily's been born about that.
Yeah. I mean, really just the last couple years we've gotten significantly better. But I want to go back to the point you said. So you were talking about the how people that are such a big part of your life become memories instantly, right? And that's like, we can look at that like from the angle that you look, but I want to position an angle too. Again, this is something that's like kind of Hormozy where I learned from, but that's even more of a reason to like go chase what's important to you.
Yeah.
Because even the people that are closest to you are at one point in your life just going to become a memory. So like, why are you going to let what people, strangers or coworkers or people like that, why are you going to let what they think of you or what they might say about you or anything else, why are you going to let that stop you when at the end of the day, like all of us are just going to be some distant memory to someone. And then this is kind of morbid, but it's true.
He does talk about this.
Yeah. After a couple of generations, no one's going to remember that you existed. Like literally in just a couple 100 years, no one will even remember us. No one will even talk about us. No one will know us. Our names will not come up probably again for eternity.
Yeah, so like,
Isn't
why
that
don't
crazy?
just live? It is
Yeah,
crazy.
so why like
just live your life?
we
Like,
have
do what
such
you want to
this
do.
short time frame of life to make the most of it, and then it's just like it's erased. It's gone forever, unless you do something like
Monumental,
incredible,
yeah.
like Martin Luther King or something like that, right? Like, okay, then you live in eternity, but which is incredible. But for the most of us, we're not chasing that. We're not trying to go do things like that. Most of us just want to live a fulfilled life, but we get stuck in this trap of like, well, if I go do this, then this might happen, or this person might say these things, and like, like that's just something that really gives me peace in chasing my dreams and making the decisions that I've made, because you think that people are going to go talk about you, but they're so worried about themselves.
They're so worried about themselves.
They're not going to care.
Also, I want to say,
And if they do,
go deeper with your own reason of what you want.
Yeah.
And we always talk about this
Ooh,
with
I
the
have a
7
point to that
layers.
too.
Yeah, 7 layers of why. But like, think about this, okay? When we're talking about chasing your dreams, being successful and all this stuff, it does not have to be like us building this podcast. You do not have to want to do something like that.
Yeah.
Your thing could be, okay, I want to make a lot of money. Why? Okay, don't just say I want to make a lot of money, so that's going to get me to go get up out of bed and like go do these really incredibly challenging things. Because just because you chase your dreams doesn't mean it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows. It's going to be hard. It's hard to chase your dreams and go after something, that you really want, and it's challenging. Go that next level. Why? But why do you want that? Okay, well, I want to make a lot of money because I want to not, be so stressed out all the time. Okay, well, why do you not want to be stressed out all the time? Well, I don't want to fight with my family. Okay, well, then maybe some of your goals need to incorporate, like, how can I be more intentional of spending quality time with my family, on top of wanting to make money, right? Because then if the whole reason why you want to make money is so you don't fight with your family, and there's not that friction at home, well, are you even doing anything to pour into time at home?
Right.
Or are you spending all your time making money?
Yeah.
Because then you're not even focused on why you're the root of why you want to do that to begin with. Or, I want to be able to afford to take my family on a trip. Well, are you, actually intentionally saving for that every single month? Or, what I'm saying? So when we're talking, we're going to get into the goals and like the practical application, but I want you to be thinking of that. Like, don't just set surface level goals. Then you're going to have a surface level life, and then you're going to make all this money. And you're going to be like, why am I not fulfilled?
you're not going to make the money.
Or you're not going to make the money.
If you have
'cause you're not
surface
gonna have
level
that drive.
goals, then you don't have.
Yeah.
Well, I can't see you don't. In most cases, a surface level goal creates surface level action, right? You're like, oh, if I don't do this thing, there's no consequence, or there's no repercussion, or there's no downfall to it. It's like, oh, I would like to make a lot of money. But if you don't really dive into the why or the reasoning, the root of like why you have the goal set, then let me rephrase that. When you do dive into the reasoning and the root of why you have the goal set, then it creates a much stronger catalyst, which is something that it kickstarts you, right? It gets the project moving. When you're connected to your why, then that allows you to move with intention and act with intention versus that surface level of I want to start my own business. Well, I would highly recommend before you start your own business, figure out what are the reasons you want to start your own business? Do you just want to do it to say it? Or do you want to start your own business because there's an outcome that you want that to have, whether it's impact you want to make, whether it's, freedom or flexibility for your family, whatever it is. When you identify your why and the purpose, the reason for the goal, dude, I'm telling you right there, like that's where most of the population falls short when they're setting goals, especially my experience with weight loss. If I can help you identify the root reason of why you want to change your life or see your weight loss goals, those clients will 10 out of 10 overperform and outperform other clients every single time.
I'm trying to pop my shoulder. It feels like it's on the verge of it.
Ooh,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's exactly right. Like because obviously, we're big into the fitness space. That is a huge level of like, okay, getting to the root of why you're doing anything.
Well, it solves a problem that most people naturally struggle with, which is self-accountability.
Yeah, because here's the thing. The moment it gets hard, if you don't really care about it,
Yeah, it's
you're
easy
probably
to
not going to
bypass.
do it. There's plenty of things that like, as I've grown, the things I used to care about, I don't care about anymore. And it's really difficult and challenging to get myself to do them. It's the same goal. I'm the same person, like physically or whatever, but like mentally, I don't have that deep desire to achieve that outcome.
Yeah.
So it's much more difficult to do it versus really coming to terms with what you actually want and what really, really drives you. So what is your word for the year? Let's follow up on that.
Yeah. So my word for the year is community.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So why'd you choose that?
Because community is one of the most fulfilling things for me. That's that's where I feel the most joy in life, not happiness, joy, right? Where I'm like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to. When I'm around people and I'm able to influence them and impact them and help them live and be better people. And I say that from like a health standpoint, right? Like it's pretty, what's the word? It's pretty, I don't want to say obvious because that's not what I want to say. It's pretty statistically proven that when you exercise and eat healthier, that you are also better in other areas of your life.
Yes.
So I wanted to kind of just clarify that. I'm not saying me being around people makes them better, but I influence their decisions to be better versions of themselves. So that's where I feel the most fulfilled. And I feel like that's something that I'm lacking. We have a community, but my word for this year is community, because I'm going to invest way more of my attention and time into creating a stronger community, not necessarily a bigger community, but a stronger community. And the goal with that is that it becomes a bigger community in 5 years, 10 years. But
like quality,
care more about the quality of the community versus the number of how many people are in it. I want the 5 people that are in that community to be supportive and strong, and like they will become the nucleus and the pillars of the future of that community. And that's what you have to build a community. You can't build the numbers and then create the nucleus. Like the community is a representation of the members, and the members are a representation of the founder. So, we will set the tone for the community, and our community will attract people who believe what we believe and see what we see the world the way that we do in most cases, right? And I say that from like a fitness standpoint. Like that's just something we've been told our whole life, is like we naturally attract people. We're magnetic in that way. And I think that's because that's my calling. That's what I'm meant to do, is to be a villager. Is just to create a village of people, and I will help you in any way I can. Like I love, like I got to jumpstart a truck for an old man on the way home from St. Louis, and like I drove away from that gas station, and I was so fulfilled. Yeah. Like it's just that small little gesture. Like he was a Korean War veteran headed to Arkansas, and he walked up behind me at the gas station, and he had a raspy voice. You could barely hear him. He said, "Sir, could you help me jump my truck?" And I was like, I saw that hat.
He could barely even talk.
And I was like, absolutely, man. And it was freezing cold outside. We wanted to get home, but I was like,
we had a toddler.
Let's, but again,
it worked out.
Not so that's just, I feel like that's where my heart's at. That's what is the most important thing to me, is like creating a strong community where I
like take care of each other,
helpful to people. Yeah. I'm serving. I've always said like being a servant is like what's in my blood. And that's how I want to serve people, is like create a community that serves them. Well,
and we talked about how picking a word should be something that aligns your actions on a day-to-day basis, and then also what helps you decide what to say yes to and not. Yeah. Whoa, that scared me. So I'm thinking, when you say community, this is how it's going to reflect in, like you said, your time and attention. So I'm thinking in-person events. We're going to be doing more in our local community, especially when it gets warmer. It's kind of hard during the winter months.
We're making it work.
But, consistent community events, building a strong online community.
That's consistent in-person events, online community, which we've already talked a little bit about that in the past. Had a couple of people join from the last, but we'll add the link to the online community as well, which is where we'll have a calendar set up inside the online community that will show in-person events as well.
Oh, and also online events. I know you're wanting to do more online events.
Yeah, so I'm working on setting it up where we'll have weekly online events that are, hosted by us, hosted by people we trust, that will come in and teach things inside the community, because that's kind of like going back to like my vision for for my whole and our whole community club is like that village mentality. Like I don't know everything. I'm not the best at everything. There's a small area where I feel like I'm really good, and that's what I teach my strengths in. But then when it comes to other areas that you guys need help with, like mobility, I am not the person to get mobility advice from, because I do not take care of my own mobility. But knowing people that do that, okay, I have resources that I can bring in that I trust that I know will treat my community like their own. So that village concept where everyone kind of works together to make the community thrive. And that's what I'm building.
And then that can also reflect in our content too on social. Because I know we still, like, it's just this different, I feel like people are wanting to spend less time on social media, but I want it to make it meaningful. And we love making people laugh, being relatable in that way, and then just hopefully funneling them to a place where we can add value, true value to their life. So not necessarily focused on just growing business or followers or any of that. It's truly refocusing on community.
Well, it goes back to the why.
Yeah.
Right. Like that same concept. I realized, like, why do I want to run a business? Why do I do what I do? Well, it's because I genuinely love that feeling of making a change in people's lives. Well, what's the best way for me to do that?
Jeff was running a boot camp throughout the summer, and this is when it was like really building up. And when we had people that we were seeing a couple times a week come over to our boot camp, and people would just be giving updates on their life, like checking in, like, oh yeah, did you watch the show? Like, you know, they were catching up, and because they were going to watch the same show, and then they talked about it, and then we sweat together, we did hard things together, and then we were laughing after, all drinking protein shakes, and like that feeling is the best feeling in the world. Fun. It is so fulfilling. So I definitely agree with that. Yeah. So my word for the year is kind of like a 2-part word, because I couldn't think of one, like a singular word that means this, but my word is narrowed focus. Okay. Which is not necessarily one word, but I couldn't think of like the word that represented that in just one. But the reason I chose that is because I am a very ambitious person. I have lots of ideas. I want to do it all, because if I see an opportunity, I see an opportunity in everything, and I really just want to do it all. And I'm like, I think I could do well in this area, and I want to do this and that. And at the end of the day, I can't do it all. And especially when I have Lily that needs me so much, and it's not that, and I want, like, that is a big piece of what I want to do is, you know, be there for her as much as I can. So in this season of my life, I can't do it all and be the mom that I want to be, because I want to be a very present mom, and these really crucial years that I want to do that. So I have to identify, and if you're someone that relates to this, whether it's, you know, kind of getting recentered on why you're doing what you're doing, and that's your word, or if you're just like, oh my gosh, I just want to do it all. It's really getting intentional about where do I want to narrow my focus. If I cannot do it all, it doesn't mean I can't do it to some degree, but I can't give 100% of myself in all these different areas. I just can't. Yeah. So I need to do narrowed focus and figure out, okay, what are the main things that I am focusing on? Here's my main things or thing. This is what I'm going to build. And then everything else, I'll schedule it in and I'll do it, but maybe not to the level that I want to, but that's okay, because it's someday in my life, I will be able to give more to that if I still even want to. Yeah. Right. But I'm forcing myself to prioritize, because I think last year I stretched myself really thin in 2025. Not that I wasn't happy or I wasn't even overwhelmed. I just wasn't doing anything very well. I was doing a lot of things just okay. Right. So I want to build something that's more intentional, and not try to build it all. So, at the same time, because you can't, you can't do everything. So,
that's a tough thing to do, though. I think a lot of people could take value from that and just narrow their focus to what's really important.
Yes. And it doesn't mean that has to be like, this is what I've thought of. Like, it doesn't mean what I'm choosing to focus on this year doesn't mean that's all I can do forever. Like, there's going to be different seasons in my life where I can do more things in different areas, and that's just how it's going to be. And so, if you're in that point, maybe spend some time, we'll get into the practical stuff of like goal setting, maybe spend some time really, really doing these both things. What what word represents your why, and how are you going to narrow that focus? So comment your word below. We want to know, what is your word of intention for this year that you're going to make sure that your actions are aligned with. And then now we're going to get into practical application of goal setting. So last week, if you missed last week's episode, I'll link it here, that we had talked all about like the mindset of goal setting and kind of just like the more foundation that you build on. And this video, I almost said call, is going to be about practical application of goal setting, which I think is fitting because even though we're like halfway into the month of January, into the new year, people still sometimes need time to like really recalibrate and like figure out what they want to do, or maybe they set goals and then they didn't follow through with them. So this is where, if you are one of those people, or even if you just want to go a step further, this has been super, super beneficial to help us with goal setting. So any specific thing you wanted to kick off with?
I think just that the reverse engineer philosophy. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was going to talk about too.
That's really the simplest way that I've always approached it. And, it's what we were taught, and that's what's worked for us. So,
So reverse engineering. So a lot of times when people goal set, even me and you back in the day, most people, they will set these goals. I want to lose 40 pounds. I want to train for a half marathon. I want to save $5,000 or pay off my credit cards, or I want to have a successful podcast. They will set outcome-based goals, which we talked about last time. Outcome-based goals versus process-based goals. So how do you figure out what the process-based goals are? Because you set these goals, but then it's like, okay, well, I'm eating healthier, but I'm not seeing the weight loss. Or I'm not getting the results I'm wanting to see. Or, hey, I'm running every day, but I don't know when. I didn't even set a time frame of when I'm going to sign up for this half marathon. And then, you get sick, you fall off, whatever. I start a podcast, we get a few episodes in, life hits us, and we get off course.
Yeah.
All these things happen, and this is what makes it so challenging for people to actually stick to the goal and achieve the goal. So when we're talking about outcome-based goals versus process-based goals, it's important to start with, where do you want to go? Okay, so if you want to be a healthier person, or if you want to lose a specific amount of weight or achieve a specific thing, that's good to identify. Then you want to pick a time frame. Okay, when are you going to do this by? And the reason the time frame is important is because, one, deadlines motivate all of us. Okay, if we know that we got to do something by a specific time frame, it kind of gets our butt in gear of like, okay, I got to make sure I'm doing the things that's going to help me achieve that. Now, to figure out how to achieve those things, that's where the time frame also helps, because then you can say, okay, if I want to save $1,000, in 3 months, okay, that's about 10 weeks.
$333 a month.
A month. So, okay, so that's $333 a month. So now we're reverse engineering that. We're not just saying, okay, if you just said, oh, I want to save $1,000 in 3 months, left it at that. Okay, then you work harder, you end up spending it here and there. It just, okay, well now it's been 3 months and I've only saved $50.
Yeah.
Where I save it and I spend it, I save it, I spend it. So then what you can do is you could then figure out, okay, if I need to make it $333 a month for the next 3 months, what do I need to do to achieve that extra income? Okay, well, maybe I can just keep doing everything that I'm doing, and I can detail cars, and I'll charge $100 to detail cars. If I detail 4 cars, then I will have made $400. So I'll make over my budget. And then I could use that extra little money as fun money, right? So whatever makes sense in your brain, you got to get specific, and you got to reverse engineer of like, okay, if I need to save $333 a month, I'm going to detail 4 cars. I'm going to charge $100. Okay, well then that's 4 cars. That's 1 per week. So I need to do 1 per week. If I'm going to do 1 person per week, how many times do I need to post on social media or go into, house by house and offer my services? You know what I mean? Like, this is where we get really granular with, okay, well then, okay, if I know I need to do this in a week, what do I know I need to do today for the next 7 days to ensure this is going to happen. And when you do that and you get that specific with goals, it's actually more fun, less stressful, and way more achievable because you break it down.
Yeah. I think it's like it's like giving yourself a recipe to follow when you're cooking versus just trying to figure out how I'm going to make this cake with what I have.
That's a great point.
Like if you can write down what you need and what order you need to put it in and then how long you need to bake it, if someone gives you that, you can bake a cake really easily. Someone with no experience in baking can bake a cake. But the difference is if you try to make a cake from scratch when you've never made a cake in your life, you have no experience because you saw your neighbor who has been baking for 30 years do it. You're like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. Well, that's just not like that person started with this process where they learned by following the directions. So I think that's another good way to just kind of like visualize how goal setting could work is you're building your recipe for success versus just trying to like wait 6 months and hope for a cake.
Dang, your recipe for success, that hit.
Like that?
That was good.
Thanks.
That was good.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. You are creating your recipe for success. I love that. Did you just make that up yourself?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Dang, it's your recipe. Okay, so that's where when you're setting these goals, and if you had set goals and you're struggling with them, or if you haven't set goals, write down where do you want to be. And how I also like to do is, yes, there is good goals to do like by the end of the year. So you can either set goals for the end of the year and then also goals for the next 90 days, or break your year goal into like quarters. So then it's like, okay, if I want to make, I don't know, I'm using money, but if I want to make $100,000, I don't know what people want to do, but if I want to save $10,000 by the end of the year, how much do I need to save per quarter? So give yourself a quarterly goal and then take that quarterly goal and give yourself a monthly goal. Then set that monthly goal and do it into weekly or bi-weekly. And then what daily actions, because that's what you want to get. You want to take these big goals and keep breaking it up into sections. And then don't be like, okay, if I miss a day or if I didn't hit the goal the first month, it's not over. Yeah. You know, if you're 1 month in and you didn't, you didn't lose X amount of pounds yet, or you didn't save as much money as you thought, or made as much success on a podcast or XYZ, it's not like you lost, because success comes from momentum. So you're more likely, if you stick to the daily actions, you're more likely to see twice as much success the second month, 3 times as much success the third month. And it's going to, think about a snowball that starts at the top of a hill. It starts really small, and then as it goes down and down and down and it builds momentum, it starts growing rapidly. And the next thing you know, it's massive.
Well, it also takes less effort to grow.
Right. Yep.
Because like the bigger it gets, the more momentum it has, the faster it goes down the hill. So like technically requires less effort to grow.
Well, which is the detailing business that I just made up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, say one person, they absolutely loved what you did. They have you come back again the next month, and then they tell 3 of their friends from work. Well, now, again, less effort because positive word of mouth spread. Now you're saving $1,000 a month instead of $1,000 in 3 months. Yeah. And you're like, wow, that happened way faster than I thought, because of the little things that you do every single day build up over time.
Well, that's also why it's important and why I'm such a big proponent of, or I'm such a big promoter of process goals versus outcome-based goals specifically. Like, I'm not saying don't have outcome-based goals. If you have a goal, you want to lose 50 pounds, that's great. But that's outcome-based. You also, if you build a process to follow along with that, what's really cool is that even if you don't hit your outcome-based goal, but you follow your process, you might lose 45 pounds. And even if you don't hit 50, you're 45 pounds lighter than you were, right? Or you might save, instead of saving $10,000 in a year, you might save $7,500. But now you've saved $7,500 more versus if you have this goal of like, oh, I want to save $1,000 a month, and then you just don't have any process for that. And at the end of month 1, you're like, well, I didn't save any money. Well, guess what? You quit. And then for a year, you quit saving. You don't have, and then a year from now, you have $0 saved. Versus if you follow the process, even if you don't hit your goal and you fall short, you're still much further along because you did the daily actions, you did the weekly actions, you follow through with what the process requires for you to even get close to that goal. And from experience, when you set a goal and you fall short of that goal, it's a lot of times you don't feel bad about it. You're still really excited. Like I set a goal for my last challenge and I fell short of that goal. Well, I didn't, look at it and be like, oh, man, well, number one, I know I didn't follow the process the way I planned. So it's my fault that this also helps when you don't follow the process perfectly. You're like, okay, I can't
be upset.
I can't be upset because I didn't do everything that it took to get the result that I had built this for. But I still got a result. And I think that's what people care more about than the end goal itself. Is people like to see the fruits of their labor. And if you just set a goal and you don't set a process, then the expectation of the fruits of your labor is just the outcome. But when you set the expectation as I want to see progress, and then progress occurs because you followed the process, bam, now you feel way more confident about your actions, and which allows you to do this over and over and over again. And then eventually, we've been doing this for almost 10 years or maybe 10 years or more now. It comes to a point to where you start to set goals naturally this way, and then you can teach other people around you how to set goals, and then people around you start to see success. And it's that's again kind of getting on a tangent, but that's where the fun comes in.
Well, and we talked about this morning of how you said that you didn't follow the process to achieve the outcome that you were wanting. However, we already uncovered, okay, the next time you do this, what held you back from following through with the process? Yeah. What could we do to set you up for better success? And now we've just problem solved, because what happens is instead of just constantly living this negative cycle of like, okay, well, I guess this wasn't cut out for me, or I'm not cut out for this, or, you're negatively talking to yourself like, I just suck at this or whatever. It's like, no, I didn't do these things. So until I do these things perfectly, which again, we don't say perfectly, you can remove emotion.
I say perfectly as in you're following.
You're actually following the
to
plan
the best ability.
Yeah,
doesn't mean that it has to be meticulous and like every detail has to be perfect. It just simply means that more days than not, I did what I needed to.
But what I'm saying is, until you can follow that process perfectly, like it's not you that sucks. If that makes sense, like it's not like you're not putting the blame on you as an individual. It's the process. Yes, it's the plan. Yeah. Did you execute the plan or not? Yeah. And it's not like if you like, oh, I didn't execute the plan, I'm not cut out for it. It's like, okay, well, what inhibited me from doing that? So like think about, okay, well, I didn't, follow. I made out this perfect plan of my nutrition so that I could achieve these fitness results or health results. And I only ate good one day. I only hit the macros one, or, my goals, my nutrition goals one day. Okay, well, it's not that you can't do it. It's like, okay, well, what held you back from following through? Okay, this, and this came up. Okay, here's how we can work to overcome those things next time.
How you improve the process.
How do we improve the process? And that's all life's about, is like life doesn't have to be perfect. Your goals don't have to be perfect. It's just about how can I continue to move forward? How can I continue to progress? Yep. And sometimes life happens. That's okay. You just, again, resiliency. You just get back on, you get back up, and you try again, and you try a little bit better, and you surround yourself with people that can help you continue to move forward and have the conversations of, okay, like, well, here's some ideas that we didn't do the first time. And it's not that we didn't, we've been doing this a long time. Like you said, we just have, again, had so many different things. This is why narrowing focus is also important, is that you can execute these things better. And it's like, it really gets you to focus on, okay, say you're at the end of the day and you're exhausted and you just want to watch a show or doom scroll on social. It's like, okay, how about I spend 5 minutes making sure I do the things that is getting me a little closer to my goal, and then I'll go on social media, then I'll watch my show, then I'll do whatever, thing I need to do. But when you do that, it really actually builds confidence in yourself because you're following through with what you said, and it makes that relaxing time even better. Or you just realize you don't need it and you're like, okay, now I'm just going to go to bed. And
such a key thing you just said.
Yeah. It's like identifying, but if you don't know what those things are, you're going to watch the show or doom scroll because you haven't identified what you need to do to get closer to that goal. So it might be like, okay, I'm going to spend 5 minutes and go do my little core workout. I'm going to spend 5 minutes and I'm going to prep for breakfast tomorrow. I'm going to make some overnight oats, and that way I have something.
I'm going to lay out my clothes for my workout.
I'm going to lay out my clothes for my workout, which I know that's something you do. Mm-hmm. I'm going to, look back at everything I spent today so that I can do better tomorrow. Like whatever it might be, I'm going to, make sure I post on social media so that I can get my people to detail their cars. Like I'm just using that random example, but that's what it takes. Sometimes it's only 5 minutes of knowing what you should be doing could change your life.
Oh man, and I think I want to go back and circle on is you said when you're doom scrolling, because I've been there where you're doom scrolling, and then at the end of the night you have this overwhelming feeling of like anxiety because you know that doom scrolling wasn't what was best for you, but you didn't have any other plan of action to take, so you just
didn't know what to
doom
do.
scrolling,
Yeah.
and it just feeds into that almost like, and I think that's where a lot of like mental health issues come from, is because people they're lacking action because they're lacking a plan, and they're just distracting themselves from that accountability of creating a plan with this dopamine feed of like social media, like, oh, these funny videos will distract me, until they don't.
Yeah.
And when they're not distracting you, that's when you got to have that real honest conversation with yourself. When you're laying in bed at night, because this is experience speaking, right? I'm telling you exactly what happens to me. I'm laying in bed and I feel this just weight on my chest, like someone's sitting on my chest, and my mind's racing, and I'm thinking about all these things that I need to get done, or all these things that I want to get done. And then I just distracted myself for hours from them because I didn't want to take accountability for building a plan to start them.
Yeah.
And man, that's such an important thing to take action on. And like the best way to take action is, like you said, just start with 5 minutes of something. And that's how I crawl myself out of those holes or out of those ruts of, because with ADHD, it's one of those things where dopamine is such an addiction for us. Like it is for everyone, but like I crave it. So like if I will catch myself just doom scrolling, and like if I don't break that cycle when I recognize it, then man, it can be dangerous. Like I can literally you could waste an entire day of your life. And I've shared screenshots of my own screen time, other people's screen time, where like literally in 1 week I've spent an entire day, 24 hours total on social media in the span of 7 days. And like going back to the beginning of the message of this podcast was, life is short. Don't take it for granted. I don't want to spend more time doing this. Like I want to spend as little time doing that as possible, and I want to spend as much time as possible building something that helps people and changes lives.
Yeah, don't waste your entire life watching someone else live theirs. All right, we'll get into here. I'm just kidding.
It's over.
But that's true. Like sometimes I get there and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what am I doing with my life? And it's not bad to scroll, like, and like, find people to connect with on social, and
no, it's a powerhouse.
Kind of,
social media is incredible. I'm not saying
I know.
Social media. Just to clarify, like neither of us are. Like this is social media. What we're giving you right now is social media, but where you choose to spend, and this is a whole nother topic, but what you feed your mind is just as important or more important than what you feed your body. And whether you believe it or not, everything that you're scrolling through and watching, like you're feeding your mind that information. Like the news, for example, I'm not going to get into any politics because I despise politics, but if you're just constantly watching and reading articles that are negative, this is happening, this person's passing away and dying, and the war's going on, all these things.
I don't think we were meant to meant to know every tragedy that's ever been put out there. Then parents like, this kid, this tragic thing happened, that is just a freak accident.
Virginia, California, like I get targeted in Oklahoma about all these news articles of these just devastating things happening every time I open my Facebook. Yeah. Every time. And and I'm just like, I just hit X. Like, it's not that I don't mourn for them or feel bad for them, but it's just like, my brain, I'm empathetic. When I read those things, it hurts me. It literally, I feel it in my core.
And you know what?
I have to push it away. I have to just avoid it because it affects how I live my life. And as sorry as I am for the bad things that happen to other people, I try to give as much prayer and thought to those people as I can. But I got to go live my life too. I got to be the best version of me for my family, and those things hold me back from that. So you have to choose. You got to choose what's best for you. And like again, life is short. People are going to forget about you eventually. You're just going to be a distant memory. So like, do what's best for you right now. And if that's unfollowing people on social media or not watching the news, like whatever it is, like put yourself in a position to be successful and stop letting all these outside distractions anchor you down with negativity and drama, because that's, truthfully, we crave that as humans because it's
interesting.
No, it's a mechanism for survival.
Oh,
like we're designed to look for things that could go wrong. So like when we're fed these things about negative things, like our brain loves that because it says, "Oh, I'm preparing for things that could go wrong."
Yeah.
But it's it's like one of those things where too much of a good thing is a bad thing. Like, you don't need to know every situation in life that could go wrong. Like, you gotta just go live, man.
Yeah, and I don't want to be desensitized.
God.
Yeah. I also don't want to be desensitized to like not mourning terrible things, and I don't want to not be affected by it.
Yeah.
Because on the other side, it's like, I don't want to be like, oh, this 3-year-old baby just passed away. And I'm like, next, and like, okay, no big deal.
There's another one.
There's,
like, that's
not good either. So it's just, it's crazy, man. It's just fine line.
Got on a tangent there, but
I know.
I just want you guys. That's our goal with this, is just to share like our perspective, and like that's something that really bothers me. And I'm making, and I know I've seen other people talk about like distancing themselves from social media, and I think it's such a good thing.
I think that like while we talked about like the online community platform, we actually took it off social. Well, we're in the process of transitioning it into its own app, private app that it's like you're not getting all the social media.
You're not in an
stuff.
algorithm. You're not getting targeted with ads, or getting targeted with any. If you click a post about cupcakes in our feed, you're not going to get 50 more cupcake posts. Like, it's just, you're going to get what we post, and you're going to be able to see what we share. Where, on the social platforms, like, they choose what they show you, and they don't always show you what we post. Weirdly enough, like our Facebook group, I'll make a post in there, and there's 1,000 people, and like one of my posts recently, 19 people out of 1,000 saw it. I'm like, okay, that's doesn't make sense how this works. So we're migrating that away, and we're really proud of that. So
well, I think we should move into letters to the porch.
Let's get it.
So letters to for a little bit. Yeah, letters to the porch is where you guys will write in and send in questions. Let us know what's kind of going on in your world, so that we could give advice, give our take, give our perspective. And you get a female, a male, like, a couple, just whatever. It could be about anything, right? So we usually do 1 or 2 of these. So the first one: hey, Jeff and Taylor, I'm a mom of 1, almost 2. And I feel like I'm constantly torn between wanting to be present with my family and wanting to feel like myself again. I miss feeling strong, confident, and disciplined, but also feel guilty when I take time for myself. Every time I try to get back into a routine, something happens. A sick kid, a bad night of sleep, work stress, and I end up feeling like I failed again. How do you balance showing up for your family and taking care of yourself without feeling selfish or like you're always behind?
Yeah.
Dang, that is relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I will say my first thing is I recommend reframing your expectations of what success looks like for you.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. And this is something I teach a lot, because this is so relatable to us, so relatable to my clients.
Yeah.
Like for how I rewired myself through this, because I went through this exact phase. And I struggled with it a lot, because I was so used to having the expectation of having a perfect workout, right? Where I have this time that's alone time. It's music blasting. I'm in the garage gym. I have all this time in the world to go in and get my work done and have a great workout and walk out of that gym feeling like I just crushed the world, right? Well, when you become a parent, you now share, everything in your life is shared, especially for the first 8 to 10 years. And probably more than that, but I know for sure those first 8 to 10 years, and in the most amazing way, right? Like, it's a short time, that's going to go fast. So like, I don't hold any regret or grudges towards having to share that time. And that's the first thing that you have to make sure you're okay with, that I had to work through too, is that I'm sharing this time, and I'm sharing this time with something that is so special to me, because you don't want to, I never wanted to be or hold a grudge towards Lily or anything along that line, because she took time away from me, right? Does that make sense? So I set that standard for myself. Like, she's not taking my time; we're sharing our time, and this is time I'm never going to get back with her. And this time is for me, because she's not going to remember most of it. So it's for me to enjoy. It's for me to embrace. It's for me to remember, and that's really what helps set everything else in play for me. Is that I realize I'm sharing my time. And it's okay if things don't go perfectly. So I rewired how I viewed my workouts. I started prioritizing doing what I can when I can. And that's, in the beginning, you're probably still going to feel like you're failing or you're falling behind. But guess what? You're going to have plenty of time, hopefully, You live a long, happy life after this. You're going to have plenty of time to have workouts alone again. And, you know, I just always try to remind myself that it won't be like this for long, and good and bad, right? If you're in a bad spot, it won't be like this for long. If you're in a good spot, it won't be like this for long. Bad things will happen. Good things will happen. Things change. It's how life works. So make the most of what you have while you have it. And that's how I view my workouts. Like some workouts, I have great workouts. I can spend a lot of time in there. And I spend, like the other day, I got to spend like almost a full hour training. And then, you know, the girls came in and they were playing outside. And okay, now I was a little distracted. I'd go play with her, do a set, go play with her, do a set. But I made the most of the situation. And that, I think, is the most important frame mindset to develop, is like, make the most of what you have and be healthy. That I think don't let yourself stop because you're not perfect or you're not getting it. It's not how it used to be, because it will never be how it used to be. Well, I can't say never, but it most likely won't be like it used to be. And I'm okay with that. But don't stop completely, because that's the most selfish thing you can do, is to stop taking care of yourself. Because what you're doing is, and this is a little bit morbid, but the way that I view it is, if I don't take care of myself now, then I'm setting myself up to live an unhealthy life as I get older, which is going to be harder on my kids. So if I can be healthy now and prioritize time to be healthy now so that I'm healthier later. And Taylor makes fun of me because I want to be like a strong grandpa. Like, that's one of my core goals.
Lily's one.
Yeah, I want to be a strong grandpa. Like, I want to be able to play with my grandkids and stuff, right? But that's the vision that I have that drives me to be selfish now. And realistically, you've probably heard this before, but being selfish now is the most selfless thing you can do, because it does make you, like, they're going to want you to be around as long as possible. And if you take care of yourself now and you step away for 30 minutes a day or 4 times a week, you go on walks with them, you do what you can to make it work, they're going to be thankful for that. And that's my spill.
No, so I think that's phenomenal advice. I think a piece that I want to touch on is, okay, when you get into a good routine and then the family gets sick, or this thing happens, or, you know, you fall off routine, bad nights of sleep. And those things, I think, in parenthood and just life, are to be expected. And I think stop being surprised that it you know, things are going to go off course, because they do, and they get off course. And it goes back to the resiliency piece. How fast can you get back to it? So you might have had no sleep. Maybe the baby's sick. Maybe you're sick. Spend that time to rest. You know, like, there will be, I would rather you spend that time focusing on, you know, that quality time as a mom, or maybe it's catching up on something else. And then, okay, now everybody feels better. You got a better night's sleep the next day, and you get a better workout. And I think it's more about looking at things sometimes from a week's perspective of, like, okay, it's not like, do I have to work out every single day? It's, you know, for me, I only work out during the week a couple times, and then I work out on the weekend because I don't work on the weekend. I don't have as much going on. So I usually get more workouts I get 2 workouts on the weekend and then 2 workouts during the week. And that's 4 workouts. I'm working out more days than I'm not during the week, but I'm just kind of, you know, understanding that it's not going to go perfectly. And exactly, I do what I can when I can. And I think also communicating with your partner that, hey, like I told Jeff, sometimes I need to work out. I haven't worked out in like 3 days. I need to work out for myself. And he said, okay, no problem. Doesn't matter if he's already watched Lily all day. He'll spend an extra 30 minutes watching her so I can go get a workout in, and then I'll take her over, right? And I think that having a good partner, and if you don't have a good partner, that needs to be something that you guys really talk about, because if it helps you be the best version of yourself, then you show up better for your family. You're a happier mom, which if you're, you know, that's, I think, one of the best things for kids is to have happy parents that are healthy and take care of themselves. And also, the laundry is not always going to be caught up. The dishes are not always going to be caught up. Like, you cannot.
We've talked about that before, but like,
it's not going to be perfect.
We pick and choose our areas of like discipline or commitment, I guess you could say. And like, health is always going to be a priority for us. Like, there's 3 baskets of unfolded laundry in my room right now, or our room right now. Like, it's, you know, are they going to get folded? Most of them, but some of them I'm just going to pull out and wear. You know? So like,
it's just the season of life we're in. And maybe it's something that's like, okay, hey, how can we get strategic to where we can hire someone to like come over and help clean the house? Like, maybe come over like every other week and clean the house. Might be a couple $100 a month. Okay, well, what can we do to earn extra couple $100 a month so that we can have some help with that category. So like you might not be in a position where that's even an option. That's fine too. Like not everything's going to be perfect. And I think it's just about rolling with the punches, expecting things to go wrong, and not in a way that you're like, oh man, in a negative, like everything's always going wrong. It's just, don't be surprised when things do. Be more flexible in how you do things and prepared, and like, okay, hey, this is part of motherhood. This is part of life. This is part of, just how things go sometimes. What can I do about it? And just kind of laugh. We laugh about things sometimes. We have times where we're like, okay, we have to catch up the laundry and we skip the workout that day because that's a bigger priority. And so I think that is something. Oh, I think she woke up. We can start wrapping things up. But anyway, that's my answer. Since we've been talking about a lot, we'll just keep it to one. I've had some other good submissions, but we'll do those in the future episodes.
We talked a lot on this one.
Yeah, we talked a lot. We had a lot of great things going on. So we'll kind of wrap it up with porch picks of the week.
Porch picks of the week.
Porch picks of the week. Bow, bow, bow. Okay,
Yep.
what's yours?
Let me go first?
Yeah, I'll let you go first.
Surprise, surprise. Ow. Got stuck on my beard.
Yeah.
Mine is specifically Paradise Punch. Form Energy. Dude, I'm a big energy drink guy, connoisseur, whatever you want to call it. Love my energy drinks. And this specific flavor has absolutely stolen my heart. It is so good. I genuinely, probably my current favorite flavor.
It is insane.
Of
it
energy
is good.
drink.
Yeah.
So they actually just released them. We were up in St. Louis and I got to get some while I was up there. And I'm excited for them to be in stores everywhere because I'm being good about my energy drink. So I'm only going to do a couple a week. So I'm going to pace them out. But guys, if you're an energy drink person, Paradise Punch, it's very, very good. So
I really have to pee. That's why I'm squirming a lot.
I was wondering what's going on over there. Got ants in your pants. I don't think you need to
I gotta
dance.
pee. I'm trying to finish out. Okay, so my porch pick of the week. We did this for our baby shower, and I absolutely love it. And I think it's just something that you can do for, if you maybe have your own baby shower, or if you want to get a gift for somebody else. Yeah. Like maybe your niece and nephew, friend's kid, whatever. But instead of doing like cards, we had people write notes in books. So like children's books, right? Yep. And so it's really cool because Lily is now at the age where she loves reading the books. And when we open up a book, we have a message from a loved one and we're like, oh my gosh, like it's friends and family, and like you get to reread them and relive that. And that's something we can have forever versus like a card. I feel like sometimes, it kind of falls off. And I actually was thinking about this, even like the vet, I know with Chaos, not talking about him too much, but when we came home from our trip from St. Louis, the people at the vet who they literally didn't know us, like we were brand new. Yeah.
It was our first time visiting them.
They all wrote a little note in a card kind of, telling us they're sorry and sending us well wishes. And I thought that was so sweet. Yeah. And so, although I said books instead of cards, I think, my porch pick is just any kind of handwritten, especially with AI and social. We talked about social media and technology, and in going back to your thing of community, I think find little opportunities like that to show people that you care, because it still goes a long way. And I think it's just really your voice went away, very meaningful. And, I think that just meant a lot to us. And then I think that's a fun thing that you can do as a gift.
Yeah. I really like the books. Mm-hmm. That's a cool idea.
Yeah. So I thought that was a fun idea. And
I love reading a book to Lily and then seeing the note.
Seeing
on the front
who
of it,
got it for her. Yeah.
I read the one from Demi the other day and I was like, oh, I miss her.
Well, and it's like you got to relive that. And also it's like, if you do lose someone, I think having like a special note that you have forever in a book is like really cool. So that's my porch pick. What's your light bulb moment?
Light bulb moment, man, life is short.
Yeah.
Life is short.
Life short, drink an energy drink. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, life is short. I think that's my light bulb moment is just like, go do it.
I feel like we always kind of come to that conclusion.
I know. That's I guess our core message, right? It's just like, just be yourself, be authentic, and go out there.
It's like every time.
I know, bro, but that's it. We always talk about that. It's
I know,
just,
it's
like
true.
that's I guess our core message. Like we need to figure that out. But it's like,
My light bulb moment is don't wait till it's too late to tell someone how you feel about them.
Oh, That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, just do it.
Because you dropped that bomb on me.
Boom. Yeah, he was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah. Okay, now I got to pee. So
All right.
thank you guys for listening. If you want to write us on maybe a situation that you're currently going through, you want our take, you want our advice, you want our perspective, we'll put the link in the description below to fill out. You could do it anonymously.
Yep.
You could put your first name and still be a little mysterious. You could put your full name and we'll give you a shout out on these episodes. We'd love to hear your word of the year. We'd love to hear your light bulb moment of this episode, maybe a point that you've taken away. So those are all options that you can interact with. We would appreciate if you commented. If you got value out of this, please share, like it, and subscribe to see more. So anything else you want to say?
I think you nailed it.
Okay, I'm going to go pee and we'll see you guys next one. Bye.
Peace.